Mike with Tech PB, and today we're going to talk about the worst case scenario for paintball when your gun is broken. Okay, as soon as I would get an email, about Mike, what should I do? My gun is broken. I can't figure out how to fix it. So I'm going to try to take you through a nice logical step on what to do when your gun is broken. Okay, the first thing I'll tell you to do is go to the gun manufacturer's website and start browsing around there and see if you can find the manual for your gun. Most of the websites, even Smart Parts, Bob Long, Dye, Planet Eclipse, Fusion, all of those gun companies, 99% of the gun companies that are out there, even Kingman and Tippmann, they all have the manual to their gun ready to be downloaded and printed right off of their website. So if your gun's giving you issues, that's the first thing I suggest you to do. Go to the manufacturer and download the manual. Now, if your gun happens to have an aftermarket board, like Virtue, Tadeo, Seventh Element, something like that, go and download the manual for your board separately. So you should have your gun manual to your left, your board manual to the right, and hopefully by reading through those really carefully, you might be able to fix the problem on your own. Okay, let's say it's got to go deeper than that. And it's happened to me. Okay, so I've got the manual, I've got this, I just cannot figure out how to fix this gun. Next thing I would tell you to do is once you read the manual and you've got everything set back to factory stock and all the aftermarket parts taken out of it, all the stock parts put into it if you have them, your manual is set to the correct, or your board is set to the correct settings, and this, that, and the other. Try giving the technical support a call. Give them a call really quick, explain to them what's going on with the situation. Say, here's the deal, I've got this gun, it's leaking out of the trigger frame. I can't quite figure out exactly where the leak is coming from. What would you suggest us to do? They may tell you, well, maybe your low pressure rag is turned up too high, or they may kind of give you some ideas. Take good notes on what they tell you to do. Try them out, and if it doesn't work, let's go into the worst case scenario, which is you have to mail your gun back. Now, mailing your paintball gun back is not as horrifying as people think it is. Now, I know a lot of people think about how expensive it's going to be in this, that, and the other. I've never had a bill for more than 1 hour worth of labor, and I'm going to show you how to cut your repair bills in half. Okay, the most of the time getting your gun repaired at the factory is generally very cheap. It's not that expensive at all, and in many cases, it's actually cheaper than you buying multiple parts from multiple websites and trying to fix it on your own. Okay, I've seen customers spend $150 on the repair parts trying to fix it on their own, and then we ship it off to the factory and the factory charges us $40. So sometimes just biting the bullet and shipping it into them when you've got a really bad problem is not a bad thing to do. Generally, your repair bills are very cheap. But let me tell you right off the bat, one of the first things that you should do. I'm going to show you, I kind of blew this up and it's oversimplified on the perfect letter to attack. What you should do. First thing you do, put your name up here at the top, put your address, okay, put phone number 1, phone number 2, phone number 3 if you've got phone numbers at work, at home, at cell phone, your email address, and some companies will require you to have an RMA number, okay. Call them up, tell them your name, tell them your serial number. You may have to kind of get registered with them and get the return authorization number. That way you can ship your gun back to them with the RMA number. Then the next thing you want to do, right on there, Dear Technical Support, here's the problem I'm having with this gun, and describe the gun also. If you ship let's say for instance an Ego back to Planet Eclipse, okay, if you say, yeah, I was having a problem with my Ego, well, which one? Was it an 05, 06, 07, 08? Was it an SL74? Was it a Slater? What color was it? So describe your Ego on your paper, just in case things get mixed up. Your gun doesn't take forever to get repaired, okay? So say, it's they're like, we'll just use this gun. This is the gun that I got, I'm repairing for Cone Sports. This is Losoya Intimidator 2002. So here's the problem I'm having with my, 2002 Losoya Intimidator. Here's the problem number 1. It's leaking out of wherever. Problem number 2, can't get the velocity up. Problem number 3, the electronics don't seem to be responding to, trigger pulls or anything. Problem number 4, maybe the eyes are broken. Problem number 5, the gun seems to be breaking paint pretty consistently, and I've replaced the detent. So describe all of the problems that you're having with your gun, and also don't leave out any new upgrades that they may be coming out with. Maybe they've got a board flash, maybe they came out with a better set of detents or something like that. So not only sometimes if you send your gun in, not only can you repair it, but sometimes you can get it upgraded as well. I know that sometimes I've sent back Intimidators to Bob Long and then put on there, if possible, could you please update the board? And all of a sudden now I get back a repaired gun and I get back a board that's updated. Awesome. I'm really happy at that point. Then I also put on there at the bottom, thank you for your, thank you in advance for your time. Please call me if there's any charges for repair or replacement. Put my name down at the bottom, and that's it. So this is the perfect letter for shipping your gun back. Now keep in mind, when you're shipping your gun back to a tech to get repaired, you're paying for time. So by not putting this letter in there, he's going to have to figure it out on his own. Now say, for instance, I put air into this gun. The solenoid, it starts leaking air, starts blasting air, and shoots out of the grip frame and goes flying across the room. Okay, and it's like, I call the customer up, did you know that every time you put air in your gun, your solenoid shoots out of the grip frame and flies across the room? Oh yeah, that's why I sent him to be repaired. So, why did you tell me? Give me a little bit of a warning here. So definitely by putting a letter in there and telling the tech exactly what's wrong with your gun and describing in detail is going to cut your bill back dramatically. If he's got to take a look at a gun and be like, all right, let's see if I can figure out what's wrong with it. Instead of him working on the gun for 1 hour, he may have to work up to 3. He may have the whole gun put completely back together and miss one little thing inside there that was actually broken, and now he's got to take everything all back out again, get to that one little part, then put it all back in again. You're paying for time. And the more of a head start that you can give him by including a very nice detailed letter, the cheaper your repair bill is going to be. So I just wanted to cover that, on putting a good letter in for the tech. And the next thing is shipping your gun to them. Okay, they don't need the barrel, they don't need the tank, they don't need your loader, they don't need any of that. Okay, so having just your gun without your, basically kind of like this, just setting up without the barrel, without the tank. They don't need any of that stuff. Believe me, techs have got all that stuff. But I would definitely recommend, don't ship your gun via post office, United States Postal Service. Don't ship your gun that way. I recommend doing it either FedEx or UPS. You can go to Kinko's, you can go to like Office Depot. There's tons and tons and tons. If you go to ups.com, which is probably the cheapest way I've seen to ship it, ups.com. Type in your zip code. You can find the UPS locations that are on there. Now, UPS has an insurance that starts off at $100, and you can request more insurance. So if you're shipping in a $1,500 gun, take out $1,500 worth of insurance. And the beautiful thing, too, is that by shipping UPS or FedEx, if something happens to your gun and it's insured, they generally pay within about 2 weeks. Post office can take a year. I've had it happen to me. Okay, I've got claims out there with the post office that still haven't been paid 5, 6, 7, 8 years later. So go with FedEx, go with UPS. Their insurance companies are great. They come with, they got tracking numbers. It's not, the post office, they're kind of primitive. So definitely go with FedEx or UPS when you're shipping your gun back. Put it in a nice little box, package it up with plenty of padding. Take this and, you can either rubber band it around it or maybe stick it down into the barrel so that they don't lose it. But, definitely go UPS or FedEx when you're shipping your gun back with tracking number and insurance. And that's about it. I know it sucks when your guns break and you can't figure out what's wrong with them on your own. It even happens to me. It happens to everybody. But I think by calling them ahead of time, downloading the manual, downloading the aftermarket board, trying it that way, if that still doesn't repair, putting together a nice little letter like this, with your name, your address, your phone numbers, your email address, the RMA number, Dear Tech Support, or the name of the tech that you talk to. Here's the problem with my gun. Problem 1, problem 2. Thank you in advance. Please let me know if there's any charge for repair or replacements. Thanks, Mike Phillips, down at the bottom. You do this, I think you're going to realize that it's not as bad as you think it is when you ship these guns. When the tech opens up and sees this letter, your gun's going to usually be fixed the same day, and your bill's going to be very cheap. So hopefully this helps. Thanks for tuning in.